Right, I have to do a little check, and I was doing it right. Sort of. For some reason, you have to do it this way.
Right under the patrician's nose. It was just crazy enough to work. I've done it. I've found somewhere to hide him.
Where?
Where no one would even think about looking. Somewhere that only the patrician and I know exists, I reckon.
The patrician and you? What if the patrician finds Two-Conkers there?
Two-Conkers should be able to hide without too much difficulty. Besides, I have a feeling that if Lord Veterinary meets Two-Conkers, he'll have a different take on this situation. He doesn't like to see useful people get killed. Besides, I am sure this is the only place in Ankh-Morpork that he'll be safe from Remora. Is it okay to move him?
He should be okay.
To be feeling much better in thankings. Sure he's not still delirious?
Sometimes I wonder.
Let's go. Hello again, Leonard.
Hello. I'm afraid I had to go back to the drawing tablet with the spinning blades radiating from Central Hub. It was too heavy. The device flew all right, but only in a downward trajectory.
That is looking like some kind of fluttering machinery.
Yes, I call it a flapping wing flying device, but it isn't working yet.
May I take a look?
Be my guest.
Are you to be considering the increasings of the wingtitude?
The span of the wings? I considered it, but the weight is still the problem.
What if you be using bombastic wood for the frame? It hadn't occurred to me that Two-Conkers would have any practical skills. But I guess you didn't carry out complex excavations without learning a thing or two about engineering. I left him to get to know Leonard and hooked up with Ilsa. She had a deal to keep. With Two-Conkers safely hidden away, Ilsa kept her word. She took me straight to the guild and signed me in as her personal guest. The fireplace was home to a roaring fire, providing light and warmth. There was something distracting about it, but I couldn't work out what.
You mustn't touch that.
Laredo Kronk, the upwardly nubile tomb evacuator, and the focus of the fantasies of 1,000 post-pubescent adolescents. I had to admit there was something about her. It was only a small bookcase, but it might have something interesting on its shelves.
Honestly, you're like a little child. Leave it alone.
I wasn't an expert, but I was pretty sure the hinged book was a switch of some kind.
Right, I'm not going to press that yet.
Excuse me, can you help me?
That depends on what you want.
I'm new here. I'm just trying to get a feel for the place.
Are you a member?
Not yet.
What's your name?
Luton.
Laredo Kronk. Pleased to meet you, I'm sure.
The pleasure is all mine.
Of course it is. So you're a guest, are you?
Is that a bad thing?
Only in so much as 8 out of 10 guests who confessed a preference stole something before disappearing.
I'm not going to steal anything, trust me.
No, I think you're wrong. You are going to steal something, but don't worry about it. Almost everything the Guild of Archaeologists owns is stolen, and frankly, they should expect people to steal from them.
Do you steal from them?
Golly, no! I never steal from any building less than 1,000 years old, and with really exciting puzzles.
So, what do you do for a living?
I'm a tomb evacuator.
And what does that involve?
It's a lot of fun. It means breaking into ancient buildings within which no man or woman has walked for thousands of years. apart from whoever it is who leaks all those medical kits, of course, and working my way through fiendish traps and puzzles, and eventually stealing some priceless treasure.
And do you sell the treasure?
Goodness, no! I'm far too well-bred for that. I bring it here, and have to watch as they slam it into a vault that nobody will look in.
A vault?
Forget I said that. Suffice it to say, the Guild of Archaeologists has a priceless collection of artifacts, but no one gets to see them.
Isn't that a waste?
Well, nobody said archaeology was rewarding.
Why do you do it then?
For the excitement, silly, and the fame. Everyone has heard of Laredo Kronk.
I hadn't.
Well, most people have. I was on the front cover of Archaeologists Monthly twice last year.
I don't read it.
Those long words can be so tiresome, can't they?
So, what does a tomb evacuator do?
Nothing special. I break into places where priceless antiquities have been locked away for centuries, overcome the elaborate and convoluted security systems, defeat my rivals, and make away with the treasure. Typical day's work, really.
So, you must be pretty rich then.
Oh, I've got absolutely pots of money. Anyway, the whole thing with the tombs and so on is just a hobby. And of course, it's great for making friends.
What? Among fiendish tomb-guarding monsters?
No, I kill all those. I meant people are always asking me things like, how do you get to the third ledge in the tomb of Tex-Mex cuisine? What's a walkthrough?
Never heard of it.
People are always asking me for one. I hope it's nothing to do with sex.
My mind just boggled. Sorry. Broken into anywhere interesting, have you?
Well, I knocked over the Grand Temple of Offla several times. Such sillies. Every time they get the Tear of Offla back, I take it. It's getting a bit boring recently. Then there's the Catacombs of Genua and the Temple of Anu Anu at Al-Khali. I don't know, it's all a little routine. I'd like to do something new for a change.
Ever thought about retiring?
I'd love to, but the public seem to want me.
You mentioned vaults.
I told you to forget I mentioned that.
I take it all the treasure that people find is kept in vaults under the guild.
I shouldn't discuss that with you since you're only a guest.
Worried I'm going to steal something?
Worried? No. I'm certain you're going to steal something. I just don't care.
Why not?
I'm very philosophical about this sort of thing. It's like I said, everything in the guild is stolen. It seems only fitting that someone else should get to steal it back, assuming they can overcome the traps, of course.
Right, here we go. I'm gonna go through the entire notebook.
Does Azil mean anything to you?
The mad Ascari of the Great Neph. Ah, yes. I think I raided his tomb a couple of years ago. Didn't get much, frankly, but what I have is down in the vaults.
The vaults?
Damn. Anyone would think I was trying to encourage you to break into the vaults beneath the guild, where centuries of priceless treasures have accumulated.
It's all protected by a hideously complex and brutal security system, isn't it?
Hey, you're pretty sharp for a guest. Yes, I designed it myself. You'll like the sawtoothed doors.
Can you think of any reason that Mundy might have been hung upside down before he was killed?
Sorry, I can't help you with that.
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
They're no one I've had the pleasure of meeting.
Do you know Ilsa and Two-Conkers? I understand they're members of the guild.
Why, of course. I have a lot of respect for them. Of course. They do all that boring excavation work, which isn't really my thing. Still, someone has to do the boring stuff, I guess. Not everyone can lead an exciting, action-packed life like me.
Do you know a dwarf named Al-Khali?
Oh yes, one of Horst's cronies. Well, some of the time. We've sparred with each other a couple of times.
What do you make of him?
He's a treacherous, rat-like man, and you do well to stay away from the likes of him.
I couldn't have said it better myself. What do you know about the counterweight killings?
Sorry, I'm not interested in politics.
Do you know anything about Reagan's murder?
Sorry, I can't.
What do you know about the murder of Mount Malachite?
Sorry, I...
Do you know a troll by the name of Horst?
Jasper Horst. Yes, I know him. Horst and I go way back, and I don't mean that in a good way.
How do you know Horst?
You could say that he and I are rivals. We have this uncanny habit of turning up in the same place at the same time, looking for the same archaic treasure.
You sound bitter.
Well, I always win, of course. But that doesn't mean I don't resent his interference.
Must keep your life interesting, though.
Perhaps. I could stand a little less excitement in my life, though.
I've heard that a bestial attacker is loose on the city.
Try and imagine how much I care.
I wasn't about to ask Lorraine. What can you tell me about a golden sword?
Huh, you'll have to be more specific than that. Golden swords aren't that uncommon, you know. I must have evacuated about 30 in my career, and that's not including the golden daggers, golden lances, and golden kebab skewers.
I'm sorry.
The ancients seemed to think that gold was the best material to build everything out of, and I mean everything. The ziggurats of Tizuma had golden cutlery, golden swimming pools, golden bed sheets, and golden chamber pots.
Really?
Well, not anymore because I stole it all, but for a while it was very impressive.
Have you heard of a gold-plated jewel with the words Unquam Paratus inscribed on it?
That's the jewel Two-Conkers is looking for, isn't it?
Yes.
He seems to think it's here in Ankh-Morpork.
And you don't?
If there was a valuable antiquity protected by an intricate and ancient security system anywhere in Ankh-Morpork, I'm sure I would have already found it.
Do you know anything about the wine barrels the Milka was carrying?
Sorry.
Do you know any...
Sorry.
I understand the Varberg crates were brought here.
Really? Whatever gave you that impression?
You've not heard of them?
If the Varberg crates were stored safely in the vaults beneath the guild, behind many intricate and cleverly designed traps and pitfalls, I certainly wouldn't tell you.
I get the impression that you really want me to try and break in.
What's the point in my sitting down and designing a security system if no one is going to try and overcome it?
Aren't you worried I might succeed?
No.
Does this mean anything to you?
I'd say it was either a Sortian or a Sortese coin. Not especially valuable.
What's the difference?
Between Sortian and Sortese, about 2,000 yards. Sort was a city, the site of the famous Sortian Wars. And Sorta is a village, the site of the famous Sortian Wars tourist trade. Where did you get it?
It's not important.
You stole it, didn't you?
No.
Oh, come on, I can see it in your eyes. Don't worry, I'm proud of you. The disc needs more tomb evacuators. We're really not that common. And there seems to be a never-ending supply of tombs, catacombs, pyramids, ziggurats, burial chambers, wrecks, caves, lost cities, temples, mines, crypts, mazes, barrows, castles, forts, vaults, swamps, chasms, labyrinths, mountains, mausoleums, tunnels, and dungeons to raid.
Tunnels and dungeons?
And trolls and dragons. You'll get the hang of it, I'm sure.
Do you know what this is?
Looks like some kind of charm bracelet from Uberwald. Might have some value, but it's obviously not very old. There are far more interesting artifacts out there if you're interested, and just a little foolhardy.
Just a little foolhardy?
I mean, if you're prepared to spend your typical day dodging poison darts, falling weights, pit traps and mechanical spears.
Does this mean anything to you?
I'm afraid
I suppressed... Thanks for your time.
No problem. Honestly, you're like a little child. Leave it alone.
I wasn't an expert.
Honestly, don't... Leave that alone.
There's nothing else I can do in here, is there? There appears to be. Okay. Where's Horst?